Hey guys, Rhetoric here, and despite the fact that you see me in a jet right now, does not mean that this is primarily a jet gameplay. No, what I wanted to talk to you about today was the Engineer class, which essentially has been spotlighted as the bread and butter class of most Battlefield games. Reason being is that while this game offers a lot of everything in terms of infantry, air, and armored combat, you really can't fight off armor as an assault class. Sure, it's useful for reviving teammates, but in game modes such as Conquest Large, where most people are in vehicles, if they die, you can't really go up to their flaming carcass of their tank and just magically revive people. It just doesn't work like that. And it's also the same with Recon. Granted, they're sort of meant to kind of stay in the back, or at the very least stay stealthy and spot out enemies before they themselves are detected. But unlike games such as Bad Company 2, where the Recon class is C4 charges, Battlefield 3's Recons are absolutely screwed when they go up against any type of vehicle. And while you can use C4 charges as a support class in Battlefield 3, and I have done that many times, there's nothing quite as satisfying as direct impacting a guy from long distance with a SMA or RPG, except if you're using this on Operation Metro constantly. You know who you are. Now, as far as the game modes go, I am playing on Conquest Large, and usually on these games the mindset is get to a vehicle as fast as I can and just try to pwn with it. And while that's fine, and I've done that myself, you can also rack up a lot of points playing as infantry, especially if you're really good at playing an infantry, because generally you're going to run into players who aren't quite so good at doing that, and if you know how to pick off people and keep cover, and just basically play very tactically, you can do extremely well. Now, I do have to say that I'm not really a big fan of the primary weapons this kit has to offer. I feel that some of them are just terrible, although the M4A1 has become my go-to gun for this class. Since it functions very similar to the M16A3 of the Assault class, albeit with a little bit more side-to-side recoil when compared to that, I find that I can get kills very easily from a short to medium longish distance, and with everything else, there's always the RPG. But as with the other guns, you know, there have been countless situations where I have been outgunned on targets that I should have had the advantage over simply because I brought a carbine to an assault rifle or LMG fight. And it's a little frustrating when that happens, because it's like, you know, I'm shooting at this guy, I know I've got hit markers on him, all of a sudden, whoop, nope, headshot with the G3A3 or whatever it may be. So yeah, that can be a little frustrating when that happens. Now, as far as the tertiary weapons go, I usually run with a SMA or RPG since it's one of those fire and forget weapons. And on maps that have a lot of destructible buildings, such as Seine Crossing, you can rack up a ton of rubble kills just by shooting the buildings and getting all those free easy kills, and they generally won't know what hit them. Now, on more open maps, especially if we have recons that will deploy SOFLAMs, I'll run around with the Javelin as it is extremely effective at taking out armor and even sometimes air vehicles if they are laser designated by the SOFLAM. As of this current patch, there is no lock-on sound when a Javelin missile is heading towards you if you are in any sort of flying vehicle, so you can often catch people by surprise, and it's generally a one-shot kill if your missile impacts them. Now, DICE is working on a patch that fixes that, and all sorts of other things as discussed in one of my previous videos, but as of right now, it's so easy to take advantage of, especially on those open maps where there's a lot of air and ground-based gameplay, armored, vehicle gameplay. But even without SOFLAM lock-ons, Javelins are very useful for taking out armor, and unlike the RPG, the impact will also take out any engineers nearby trying to repair said vehicle, so again, it's free kills. In conclusion, this class is extremely useful if used right, and you can rack up a ton of kills and generally be prepared for almost every situation you will run across in Battlefield 3. Having a class that is effective against infantry, armor, and air vehicles makes this the go-to class for most game types, and while it is not my personal favorite out of the four, it's still very useful and definitely should not be overlooked. Anyway, that's all I got for today, so if you like what you see, please thumbs up this video and leave a comment. It really helps out a lot. This is Rhetoric, signing off.